Can I get parenting time with my children? And how much parenting time can I get? So, can you get parenting time? You can get parenting time if you're legally, not just biologically, but legally established as the parent. And simply, are you on the birth certificate as the legal mother or the legal father? That needs to happen. The mom is almost always going to have been legally established because I think, frankly, at the hospital, mom's going to be listed as the mom. But the issue with fathers sometimes is uh, they aren't always at the hospital. So oftentimes there are birth certificates and situations simply where dads have not been legally established as the father. So oftentimes the first thing we're going to do in a case, and this can be in the court process, pretty easily done, but an important first step is we're going to establish you legally as the father of a child before, just because we have to, we're going to legally establish you as the father before we can move on to actually getting you the parenting time. So you can get parenting time if you're legally established as the mom or dad of a child. Now, how much parenting time can you get? Let me talk about three pretty common situations very, very briefly. First, the most common situation, and that would be simply both parents live near each other. You know, I'm sitting in Chicago, Illinois right now, and, mom and dad are both in greater Chicagoland. Maybe they're 10 miles apart from each other. In that situation, the parenting time that we would generally be able to get for you, what I would approximately, I would put between 3 to 5 nights for every 2 weeks, or somewhere between, say, a quarter and a third of your children's lives would be overnights with you. A typical picture, probably a lot of your overnights would be tied to one of the weekends. Maybe it's Friday to Monday, maybe it's Thursday to Monday, maybe it's Friday to Sunday. There are a lot of ways to split that up, but a lot of your overnights would be tied around one of your weekends. And then typically we would get another weeknight overnight as well. So that's probably your most common parenting time picture. Another common parenting time picture in this day and age is an out-of-state picture. Mom lives in Chicago, dad lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and now dad wants parenting time with his child. What does that look like? Obviously, the frequency is going to be different because we're not 10 miles apart anymore. Now we're 900 miles apart. The amount of parenting time, I think actually when you slice it up, isn't all that different, but it's a lot less frequent. And a typical out-of-state parenting time picture is going to basically carve up the major extended school breaks, and that's when your parenting time is going to fall, right? You're looking throughout the school year at winter break, spring break, summer break, that week of Thanksgiving. Perhaps there are other long weekends you can grab. But that's what a typical out-of-state parenting time schedule looks like. A lot of that time happening over the summer. So there's the typical picture when everybody's local. There's the typical picture when people are further apart, halfway across the country. And let me talk about one other parenting time picture for people watching this video who maybe have been out of their child's life for a few years for different reasons. Maybe the mom or the dad has kind of pushed you out. A very common picture to get back into your child's life would be this. And that would just be simply the idea that you would sort of ramp up your parenting time to just get things going, reestablish your relationship with your kids, and then after 3 to 6 months, then it would just very naturally transition to sort of one of those more typical situations, the local or the out-of-state picture. And the ramp up simply would be, maybe you start with 3 hours on a Saturday, and then it expands to a full day every Saturday. And then after a couple months, it becomes an overnight Saturday to Sunday. And if that goes okay, now it becomes a full weekend. And now, after 3-4 months, we've ramped it up, so to speak, to one of those just sort of regular average parenting time pictures. So how much parenting time would you get? Those are 3 situations you can expect to face if you want to start a case to get parenting time. And let me just end by saying the most important thing is actually just simply bringing your case and taking action, because you're entitled to parenting time. The other parent cannot really stop it. And in my experience, a lot of people don't get the time that they're entitled to just because they're willing to sort of accept very limited time that the other parent's just going to give them. Whereas if you bring a case in court, you're entitled to that significant 25 to 33%, just time with your son or daughter and involvement in his or her life. So I would encourage you to bring the case, because frankly, they're easy wins and you're entitled to that rich relationship with your son or daughter.